Sean, what questions and comments do we got over there?
All right, let me scroll back up. So we got between 200 and 300 people
Nice.
watching. So the Nerve, he said, I would like to know if Gary thinks if the confusion may have been intentionally created by interfering with communications.
You know, I don't know. Look, I've always tried to be straight up with you guys. I don't think that the Secret Service, there's no evidence that I've seen that the Secret Service on the ground, were in on it. I think, ultimately what we have here is, I saw somebody talk about CQB the other day, and I thought it made a lot of sense. And I've experienced this exact same thing. When you're deployed overseas, there's a lot of time you're developing targets, you're developing intel, and you're going after these high value targets. And man, you will hit dry hole after dry hole after dry hole after dry hole. You go there, there's either nothing there, there's no combatants there, and definitely the high value target that you're looking for isn't there. And you definitely start to see complacency build in. You get a couple of those missions under your belt, and next thing you know, these hard charging guys that are very detail oriented, that are very disciplined, the next thing you know, you see room clearing techniques that suck. We're doing things half-assed. And I can only imagine that, whether it's these guys or other guys, whether it's these specific Secret Service people on the ground, as well as the Secret Service in general, they've done thousands of these events. And I think it's real easy to start getting super complacent. There's two things going on there. Number one, I think there almost definitely was a concerted effort to deny Trump resources, so he didn't have the security that he needed. They should have had counter surveillance on the ground. They should have had counter sniper reaction teams on the ground. Those are real things. They didn't have those. Those two things alone would have completely changed this outcome. We also know that the Secret Service showed up, and Butler PD, the Sheriff's Department, and all the other folks, they already had radios prepared for them that they didn't utilize. It's speculation for me to say that wasn't intentional, and it'd be speculation for you to say that it was. So, that's kind of where we're at on that. I just think, I think having had worked with a lot of federal agents, man, they have a really bad, too cool for school attitude about things. And it's like, we got this, not gonna be a big deal. And they've gone to hundreds of events where I think, security for Trump was really disappointing, right? It was an appearance of security and not real security. And we can take a look at this situation, and all you got to do is kind of do a thought experiment. So we had Crooks up there. He was playing the lone sniper role, right? But how many other ways can you just sit back, knowing everything that you know now, and think about the ways that you could have attacked Trump without using Crooks? Not from that position, shooting him from different positions that were unsecured. Getting guns over the fence. You can see the fence lines. Yeah, they went through magnetometers, but people could have went through the magnetometers, went over to a fence line, and somebody could have handed them a bag with a rifle or something like that. There's like 1,000 different ways that I've looked at this and been like, hey, you know what? I could have done this. I could have done this. I could have done this. So, right now the evidence points to me that the people on the ground just were completely complacent. I also think there's an element to where even the local law enforcement, I think generally speaking, local law enforcement were taking it more seriously than Secret Service. But I still think, we have Greg Nichols. I have no idea what that guy's doing in that room. He is definitely suspicious, I would say. I don't think that he was a second shooter or I just don't. There's too much evidence for one shooter for people to be throwing around the idea that there's possibly a second shooter at this point. There's no evidence of a second shooter. As a matter of fact, there's just a ton, an overwhelming avalanche of evidence that there was only one shooter. On top of that, again, there would have been somebody out there that heard shots from a different location. Not a single person has come out that was nearby the AGR building or any place that other shots could have come from within that trajectory line that said that they heard shots from in and around there, and there was lots of people close by. You know, the idea that there was people 30, 40 feet from that building, and we could have had 3 shots from up here where Crooks was, and 3 shots up here from inside a window is ridiculous, folks. That means you have not been around guns enough to know. That's literally like saying if you go out to a parking lot, get 50 feet from, I don't know, 5 different cars, right? And there's a car over there, a car over there, and a car over there. And they honk their horns and be like, all right, that car honked its horn twice. That one over there honked its horn twice. Like, you can tell the difference. So I'm not buying the second shooter theory at all. I haven't seen. Now, you show me some evidence for it, I'll look into it. But having been out there and seeing, once you're out there and you see some of the other proposed things like the gymnast building and some of these other things way back, there's no line of sight from just the way the terrain is. It's not even close. It's ridiculous. So, or even on the back of the AGR building on the higher second level floor further to the south, yeah, there's no way. So, you know, as far as comms go, I don't know. I think yeah, I don't know. I couldn't answer that. What else we got as far as questions go?
All right, well, see here, Houston Wyatt, he says his autism is kicking in, but he thinks that the stock, it could be an old school UBR with a storage compartment removed.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the old UBR, it just looks completely different. And that space that you see there, hold on, let's go back to it so we know what we're talking about. All right. The space that you see there, that is completely busted. I mean, it just is. You know, again, as we move into some of these pictures, you can tell. Let me go a little bit further here on the next shot. It's a little bit more clear. So this whole area right here is deformed right there. And this is actually part of the buffer tube sticking out right there. There's nothing up here that actually looks like a padded buttstock. It doesn't look like a UBR. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Let me see if this other picture is a little, yeah. So this picture is even more clear. You can see how jagged that piece of plastic is, broken. And regardless if it's a UBR or not, what you're not going to be able to explain away is this is a clear distortion that we have right here at, oh, I'm not even showing this on the thing, huh? Hold on. Let me get my crap together, folks. I'm managing too much crap here. Let me add to stage. All right. Now we're cooking with grease here.
I don't think he was trying to argue with you. He
no,
just,
I know.
He says autism was kicking in. He just wanted to
I hear
reaffirmation, maybe.
So what I was saying and not showing you guys is, like, here's one picture with, you know, me playing around with the color, but here's the next one. And you can see that deformation going on right in here. And again, hopefully you guys can see, but there's like a V cut out. It looks like plastic broken. But what you also don't see is like the same padded area that you would see on a UBR. You just don't. And of course, there's some distortion there because I had to zoom way in. But I think that's very clear. But regardless of whether or not I've gotten the exact stock correct, but you can see right here that there's that locking mechanism that you can kind of see right there that you don't see on a UBR and you do see on a CTR. But regardless, that right there, you can see it at the buffer tube. Like, regardless, that to me looks clearly like a bullet hole. Clearly like a bullet hole coming in at a very acute angle and, you know, just shattering that stock. And, you know, honestly, it may have hit this so hard that it actually shattered the stock on his shoulder. If it wasn't the round exiting this area and just breaking the plastic. I don't know. I also think that it's possible that he was actually